Alright, g'day everyone. Mr. Welsh here, and we're going to do our maze tutorial. So this is number 4. What we're going to do is just do a basic maze and getting a few objects at the end, okay? And I'll show you a couple of things that you can do with enemies and stuff like that. So the first thing that we'll do is we'll open up Game Maker and continue using the Light Edition. Alright, so first things first, what I'm going to do is get a sprite for a wall. There we go, a nice cracked one there. SPR underscore wall. I'm going to get a sprite for a player. Where's a player that I can choose? Let's do this one. Alright, I'm going to call him SPR underscore player. So, two sprites there. Let's make the two objects with the blue ball. First one is the wall. Make sure we tick solid for the wall, and it's OBJ underscore wall. Next one is the player, and we'll call it OBJ underscore player. The last thing I'll do is I'll make a room. So I'll expand this out so you can see. Let's go the wall, and remember to change these two to 32 and 32. So that way we can put the wall in nice and easily. I'll just get rid of a few of these so I can make, because I'm going to try and make a very simple maze. Like this. There we go, pretty simple. And I'm just going to put a player at the very top. So he just has to walk through the maze and get to our goal that we'll put over there. Let's just focus on him moving around at this stage, okay? So let's go into the player and let's add the event. Now we'll move with the arrows, so keyboard left, and we'll move left at a speed of 5. Oh, let's go a little bit quicker, 7. Add event, keyboard right, and we'll move right at a speed of 7. Add event, keyboard up, and we'll move up with a speed of 7. And then lastly, keyboard down, and we'll move down with a speed of 7. Now I'll do the 5th one as well, which is add event, keyboard no key. And when we're not pressing a key, we want to stop. So the one in the middle there is stop. And then we'll add event, collision with the wall, we want to bounce. So that way we don't go through the walls. Now hopefully this is all pretty familiar. This is stuff that we've done for the last 2 or 3 tutorials. Save it by pressing OK, and let's just play the game and get us moving around. Alright, let's see how we go. Oh no, can't get through. Okay, we've run into a bit of an issue. So let me just get out of this and open up the room so you can see. Now our player was getting stuck around here. Now what's happening is the person's going down, and when he hits the wall here, he's bouncing off, which is fine, but the player, you can see that the player, if I open up the sprite, is 32 by 32. So for the player to continue going around the maze, he has to fit perfectly in that square to move across. Now, when you bounce, it's very hard to put him back in that square perfectly, as you could see. Now, that's one thing we've got to be very careful of when we're doing the maze. Now, there's a pretty easy way to fix it. So we're going to tick and go to our player. When we bounce against the wall, in this grid looking one here, we are going to align ourselves to a grid. So we're going to align ourselves back to the grid of 32 by 32. So whenever we bounce, let me open up the room again so you can see. Whenever we bounce, we might bounce off it, but then we are going to force ourselves back into that grid perfectly, so that way we can move around. Now let's play this and hopefully that will get it working. So go down and see how we bounce against the wall, but then it puts us back into the grid. Bounce against it, and that way I can now go around the maze perfectly without any issues. I could even go into that one there. That's good. Go down this way. Cool. So that's fixed that issue. So we've got a player moving around a maze now. What I'm going to do is go File, Save As. I'm going to save this game. Where's my... So you'll save it in your student drive around about here. I'm going to go to my OneDrive and save it in here. Game design, game tutorials, and let's call this maze game. Alright, so now what we'll do is we'll get a sprite and we'll make it so we can go to the next room. So something to collect. Let me load the sprite up and I'll find, I think there's a gem one in here. Yeah, nice dark gem. Open him up. SPR underscore goal. Now we'll go and we'll make an object. So choose the goal. Let's call it OBJ underscore goal. And then we just put that goal in the room, right at the end there. Now, let's set up a few things with the goal. Now, you can do this either in the player or in the goal. I'm going to do it in the player because that way it's all together. I'm going to add event collision with the goal. So when the player touches the goal, what we want to do is we're going to go to main one and we're going to go to the next room. Put a transition effect on if you want to. Right. Okay. So whenever we touch that dark gem, we move on to the next room. Now, obviously, we should, if we do this properly, we should get an error because I've only got one room. This is just a test to see if it's working. So moving around, I can go through the maze perfectly. Yep, and we crash because we've run out of rooms. Easy fix though, so what I'll do is I'll just go brand new room. Same thing again, let's go 32 by 32. And I'll make a new room. So I'll still put the wall around the outside. And I reckon I might just kind of muck around with this over here and just put that there, put that in here. Alright, so let me put the player in the room here, and lastly the goal in here. Okay, so this way we can make sure this room, we go into the next room and then we can keep on going on. Now you do have to put the player in every room, okay, because when you finish a room and go to the next room or to the next level, the character doesn't keep on going from one room to the next, it starts again. So you've got to make sure you've got both of them in there, okay? So I'll just play it, make sure everything's working. And the next thing I'll do, I'll just test this out. I know that this room's working. So this is just a test that I can actually, where are we? That I can actually go to the next room, which I can, moves to the right, and we go over here. Cool. Excellent. So we've got 2 rooms that are working. Going to save the game, and let's add another room. 32 by 32. Now I'm going to try and get the wall in nice and evenly. Something like that. Cool. So I'm going to put the player up the top and our goal over here. Now let's add a few other things. How about we add an item to collect? So I'll go and find a new sprite. Let's collect some books. Why not? So open up the book and I'll call it SPR underscore collect. I'll make the new object being SPR obj underscore collect. So this is an item we want to collect to get points or something like that. So let me go into the player and we'll do all the collision events in the same thing. So collision with the object to collect. So this is where we're going to add a score. So we're going to set the score and I'm going to make it, let's make it 5 points relative because I'm going to put a few of these in. Now remember with the score you've always got to tick relative so that way it adds up. Now what you need to do, now it might be easier if I just show you. So just for testing purposes, I'm going to put the item to collect here, just to test, okay? So that way I don't actually have to go through and play the rest of the game. What I might actually do after this is show you a good way to test your game, okay? Bit of a cheat code for you. Alright, so let me go down and you can see how my score keeps on going up because I'm still touching it. Yep, still touching it, still touching it. Okay, that's an issue. So let me get out of that. Let's go to the player because that's where we're doing everything. So the item to collect, we set the score relative to 5, but we want it to disappear once we've touched it. So what we do is we go to main 1 and destroy the instance. Now we have to be careful. If we did this in the item to collect, it would be destroys itself. We actually want to do the other object because we're doing this in the player. So we want to destroy the instance of the other object or the object that we're colliding with. So that way we can keep on going and our points don't go up. So let me see. 5 points, cool. 10, 15, 20. And they're all gone. Excellent. So let me save this because, actually no. Let me go to the room. Delete those. I'm going to go put these in the second room, okay? And I'm going to put quite a few in. I'm going to just guys, I'm going to put a few in there. So green tick. Now, as I said about testing the room, I'm going to go into the player and add a cheat code in. So I'm going to go keyboard, and I'm going to go spacebar. So anytime I hit a spacebar, I'm just going to go to the next room because that's going to help when it comes to testing the game. You don't want to go through the maze over and over and over again just to get to the part where you want to test. So by putting in that little cheat code to move yourself onto the next room straight away is a really useful thing to do, okay? So instead of going through, I can just press space, space, and I'm in my room now ready to test. So I can get all of the items there, excellent. 110, go up here, across, and we're done. Cool. Save the game. Now, how about I add some enemies? So let me find a sprite for an enemy. There's a ghost one here. Where's the ghost? There we go. Alright. Now I'm going to call this SPR underscore enemy. I'm going to do LR. LR standing for left and right. Now this is just an idea of what you could do. So I'm going to add the sprite in for the object, obj underscore enemy LR. Yeah. Alright, sorry, where am I? So I've added the object enemy left and right. So here's what we'll do. Add event, create, and we're going to make this enemy move left and right, and let's set the speed being 6. Now there's a few other things that we need. We need to add event collision with the wall. When this enemy collides with the wall, what we want to do is bounce. Add event collision with the player. So when the bad guy collides with the player, what we're going to do is let's just restart the game and we'll put our high score in there as well. So show high score. I'll just go OK. So that's from the score tab, and restart the game is in main 2. Okay. So now I'll go to my room and let's add this enemy in that is just moving left and right. So all the way up there. So we collect the things and we got to dodge the enemy. Sounds pretty simple. So let's have a look and see what we're doing. Alright, spacebar, spacebar. Yep, enemies moving left and right. No issue there. Collect all the items. Oh, I can't be bothered collecting all the items. Scroll down. Cool. And we're done. Now what I'll do is I'll make another room. And I'll go 32 by 32. And this time what I'll do is I'll add one that goes left and right, but I'll also add one that goes up and down. Just for a bit of complexities to this game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the player in the corner. I'm going to add the goal over here. Oh no, that's the player, sorry. I'm going to add the goal over here. I'm going to add a row of things to collect, just for extra points. And then let's add, I don't know, 1, 2, let's add 4 left and right. Yep, let's remove those instances. Let's play it, let's see what happens. So this is what we can do to kind of build up. I mean, once you get the basics down, like an enemy moving and things to collect, it's pretty much your oyster as to what you do and how you get this game to work. Space, space, space. Alright, there's our enemies moving there. A little bit challenging. Cool. So I'll go back here, and now I'm going to go sprite, load sprite, and I'm going to add the ghost again. I'm going to call it SPR enemy UD, standing for up and down. Add another object for the enemy, so obj underscore enemy UD. Now this is where naming things comes in real importance, okay? Because I've got 2 sprites that are exactly the same. The only thing that's changing is the way it's moving. So you've got to make sure you label them correctly. So add event, let's go through it. Create, and we want to have the move being up and down at a speed of 7, I think I said. Was the other one speed of 7? No, sorry, speed of 6. So there's no, I'll change it to being speed of 6. Add event, collision with the wall, we want it to bounce. Add event, collision with the player, we will go to the score tab and we'll show the high score. And then in main 2, we'll just restart the game. And then it's just about going into the room and adding your enemies. So make sure that you've got the object enemy up and down. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. We've made this game quite challenging now for this last one. Let me run it and see how we go. Alright, spacebar, spacebar, spacebar. Wow, okay, this is definitely a lot more challenging. But I'm just too good. Cool. I reckon we're done there for that game. Now, I've got 4 rooms. I reckon before you submit it, you could probably put another couple in. And just keep on adding to the difficulty. I know a lot of people, when they do make games, from my experiences of doing Year 9 game design, is that they try and go too hard too early. Have a couple of rooms, just like what I've done here, where it's easy to get through, there's no enemies, and you can just get used to the game and how it plays before you start trying to own everyone. Okay, save your work. So file, save as, and make sure you've saved it in your student drive. Call it Maze Game or whatever. Submit it to Compass. Yep, I'll replace it. Cool. Thanks everyone. You've done really well. See ya.